historic farm. And Ardenwood is a Victorian farm that used to be owned by the Patterson family. So we have a historic house that you can tour and gardens from the Victorian era. And I'm in charge of all the gardens here at Ardenwood. Well, we have a lot of educational programs here, mostly geared towards younger children. So kids can come out and learn about the Victorian era, how people lived on the farm. We have a lot of farm animals, so they can learn how to take care of the animals, how to feed them, and then we also have a lot of volunteer opportunities like you guys are doing out here, so chances for high school kids or adults to come out and do some gardening or work with the animals. My favorite part is just being able to work outside in such a beautiful place, and every day I get to meet cool people, see wildlife, and get to work with plants, so that keeps me happy.
Does the drought that's currently taking place, does it affect Ardenwood Farm?
Yeah, it definitely does. We have a lot of different planted areas, we have a lot of lawns, and a few different orchards, and so we're having to change the way we run ourselves to try to use less water, finding less water dependent species, but things that also still reflect the Victorian time period, so it definitely adds another challenge.
What's the most interesting thing here in Ardenwood Farm?
The most interesting thing? Well, one thing that's really cool is our overwintering monarch population, and we do have monarchs here year-round. I actually just saw one fly by. And the greenhouse here is part of the epicenter for that. We have a bunch of milkweed growing all around the greenhouse that you guys helped plant a lot of. That's what the caterpillars eat. And then in our eucalyptus grove, if you come in the winter, you can see all the monarchs clustering in the trees here, which is very unique. There's only a couple places in the Bay Area that have that, so I think that's one of the coolest things about the farm. Alright, so this is the greenhouse that I mentioned, right over here. And we've got some beds with native plants in the front, and in the winter we have some potted plants that are ready to go out. We don't have too much of that right now. And inside the greenhouse is where we start seeds for things that are going to go in the cutting garden later. And should we do a walk around? You can see the milkweed. Let's go this way. So over here we have some more native plants and a couple different varieties of milkweed. This is the narrow-leaved milkweed, which is a native variety, and then this taller one is called trumpet swanflower, and this is a non-native variety, but it doesn't die back in the winter, which is largely why we have it for educational programs, and the caterpillars still like to eat that stuff. So that's the greenhouse. This is the rose garden and the cutting garden. Got a bunch of different kinds of roses. Some are historic, some are modern. And then we have a bed over here, which is mostly native species. There's more milkweed in the front of the native variety, like we have by the greenhouse. And then there's some mugwort, which is another California native, and the orange flowers are our state flower, the California poppy, which are always pretty. And then we've also got a bunch of raised beds for the cutting garden, which you all helped plant this year. So if you want to check out the beds, a lot of this stuff either came back from what was planted last year or came from seeds that were started in the winter, and then we planted them out probably about a month ago. Things are starting to come up. And then in the center here, this used to be just a giant weed patch area, and it was recently cleared out and sunflowers were planted there, so should have something prettier in the summer to look at.